Greetings, humanoids of the internets! My name is Bob. This is episode 89. Episode 89 of Journey into Space! Journey into Space. Now, I know that I ran at the end of my last video with a preview of the Spiderlander vehicle. However, I built this thing, and it's just so monstrous that it would be a crime to not show the launch on video. Now, if it fails, I'm not gonna spend any more time with it. I'm just gonna work with it off camera and move right along to the Spider lander, because that's actually the main thing we're working on today. But I figured if this thing blows up at launch or shortly thereafter, it's surely going to be spectacular. But it might not. It may, in fact, I hope that it will accomplish its mission. What, you may ask? You may be asking yourself, what is its mission of this monstrosity? Well, here at the center is a Kethane mining and delivery system. A Kethane freighter, basically. The idea is it goes to the Mun, to a part of the Mun far away from the colony, because this thing would just by itself just lag out the entire colony and make the colony unusable, essentially. It may be, in fact, be too laggy to launch even. The idea is I'll go to the other side of the Moon from where the colony is, land, pick up some Kethane fuel, and then just kind of sit on it until there's some ship in orbit around the Moon or somewhere that has need of Kethane, or fuel, actually, because it actually has relatively little Kethane storage. It's all about storing fuel and RCS and everything else. Basically it'll be on the standby until such time as fuel is needed in lunar orbit, or I suppose theoretically elsewhere too. I did throw one of these Kethane generator units on there, which produce xenon as a byproduct, so of course I had to put ion engines on there too. So yeah, it's a bit overdone. It's just overdone, overkill. But we're gonna launch it and see what happens, and it may just blow up, and that would be fun too. Okay, what levels of epic lag we're gonna have while trying to record this thing while it's launching, I have no idea. We're just going to go with it, see what happens. I imagine the lag's going to be fairly fierce. In 3, 2, 1. Well, okay, so much for that. Oh, well, let's just drain the tanks out a little bit, see what happens. Yep, it's just sitting there. And I'm not getting a right-click menu on any of this. So it could be, well, I'm getting a right-click on this. It's burning fuel. Let me stop recording and see what happens. Okay, I know I said I wasn't going to spend a lot of time with this, but just out of curiosity, I put skipper engines on there instead of the weak little engines I had there before, because I thought that these main cells had enough thrust to carry it all. Evidently, that was not the case. So we'll try it again in 3, 2, 1, go. what the hell happened? What the hell happened there? Something bad. Nothing good. Always check your staging. Yeah. Alright. Last try on this, and then I'm going to work on it by myself if this fails. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh well, a successful launch. Overheating. Look at that monstrosity. Look at that. Look at that shit, man. It's a monster. Okay, still overheating. Okay, overheating's pulled back a little bit. Boom. Okay, getting ready for our gravity turn. And gravity turn. If I can get this monster into orbit, I can. The ship itself can do the rest. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's turn the overlay off. I always love those little random explosion sounds. Those are always excellent. Okay. Not looking real positive, honestly. I don't really have a good feeling about it. And it's not maneuvering without RCS at all. Fortunately, I've got a ginormous RCS tank, so it's not really an issue. But I only have 8 thruster units on the ship itself, so. And going spinny winny. Spinny winny. Okay. We're going to start burn at T-minus 50 because we don't have much horizontal motion here. Yep. And we're almost out of booster fuel, which means we'll have to rely on the nuclear engines for the rest of it, which is kind of an iffy proposition. Although I've got 6 of them, so it's not that iffy, but still. Alright, it's maneuvering a little bit better, maybe because it's almost out of fuel. What? Empty? That shit sucks, okay. Okay, very easy like. Very gentle, don't knock shit off, please. Alright, throttle it up. And I'm already past the apoapsis. If I can get into orbit, I could probably get this thing on the moon, just that, It's not a foregone conclusion I'm going to get into orbit. We need more power, Mr. Scott. It's like it's just standing there in space. Okay, no, it's starting to push the apoapsis up a little bit. Well, we got fuel to spare because I've got a separate fuel tank that's just for carrying fuel up to lunar orbit. So even if we run out of fuel, I can transfer fuel from that tank and get to the Mun. And it's got a ginormous amount of fuel too, so really probably not something I should worry about that much. Assuming we get to orbit, that's not a given. We're certainly not making a great deal of progress towards pushing up the apoapsis here. Okay. I've got 300 units of thrust in 6 nuclear engines, so shouldn't be that bad. Okay, well we just wait. It's not going to do anything very fast here. I'm kind of astonished that this thing works. Okay, we're starting to push up the apoapsis a bit better. I'm going to tilt over just a tad. A tad more. Tad more. We might actually get this monstrosity to orbit. No telling whether we'll be able to get to the surface of the Moon or not. Liquid fuel consumption, not looking that positive. Alright, we got a periapsis. Let's go ahead and warp in that direction. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually made it to orbit. I'll be diggly danged. I'll be diggly danged. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and warp around to the sunlight side so I can kind of see what it looks like here in space. See what it looks like in space. Here, quick save. This is really needlessly monstrous craft, honestly. What else is new, right? It's got docking ports on the front and at the back here. It's got three of these giant drills. Okay. I should be able to replenish the fuel tanks. And that should get me to the Mun. In a perfect world. Okay. Okay, engine fuel tanks refilled. I'm going to turn it outwards so you can kind of get a all-around look at the whole monstrousness of it. 6 nuclear engines, 3 of these gigantic drills. Only a relatively small kethane tank because I'm going to be turning the kethane into fuel on the ground. Great big ass kethane converter, giant ass battery, big ass robotic control, big ass SAS. It's just big. It's just big all around. It's just big, period. I never did set up a command thing for turning on these engines. I guess I can turn them on manually. Okay, well, we will get this thing to the moon and see what we can do. You know, the ion engines, I sort of put them on there as an afterthought. They're pretty damn useful because this thing has the overkill power supply. It doesn't really need all this power unless it's drilling. So the ion engines, they're not, you know, they're certainly good for doing maneuvers and stuff. Like I didn't have this encounter quite right, and so I shut off the nuclear engines, turned on the ion engines, and used the ion engines. Just ate up a little bit of this enormous battery, and got the job done. So it killed off. I went from about 100 and something meters down to 49. So I didn't use my main fuel. So yeah, hell of a deal. Okay, we're about to come in for a landing. This could be real iffy on fuel. Matter of fact, cancel that. Okay. Because we don't have much fuel. We got about half tank in each of the tanks, so whether we're actually going to be able to do this, get it down, or whether we need to get a refuel somewhere along the way, I don't know. But could be iffy. Okay. I can tell you it's not going to be a 1-second burn. Let's go ahead and warp in. We'll start about 10 seconds before. I like that. Make sure I'm firing on all cylinders. Yep, even the ions. Should be good enough. I'm real dubious about prospects of landing this bitch, but we'll see. This is the stuff of which Journey into Space is made. Actually, typically, no, I have everything worked out ahead of time. There's no possibility of failure. Here, there is definitely a possibility of failure. Could possibly happen. Usually, I'm pretty well prepared to not fail. This time, not so sure. Okay. This could be another Tylo disaster. Looking for a place to happen. And it's a little bit unbalanced because I had to replenish the fuel in a slightly unbalanced way. Which just adds to the fun. Kind of having to micromanage my attitude because the tanks are just very slightly out of balance. So Okay, we're going to call that. We're going to call that vertical. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull these in just for safety's sake. Although the only way they would break is if I fell over my side, and if I fall over on my side, I've got bigger problems than that. Yeah. I got bigger problems if I'm falling over on my side. These are still nuclear engines, so they aren't real responsive as far as getting you thrust when you need it. So I need to keep it down about 25 at this point. Okay, we'll just kind of nurse it in. Looks like I'm kind of on the edge of that cliff, but I think I should be clear. That's some magnificent desolation there. Actually, I think I'll be okay on fuel. Try to get rid of any kind of vertical motion going on here. I mean, horizontal motion. Sorry. Okay, looks like I'm about on target. About on target. And now this could be rough terrain. I need to go killing that off a little bit. Shadow by any chance? Not yet. Okay, I see the lights. Big slope. Really big slope. Don't feel good about that, honestly. Especially with the size of this thing and the fact that my landing gear not as big a spread as they could be. So I need to land at very, very low speed. Oh shit, man. And no, I'm not gonna even be trying to maneuver around. I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, that was close. Oh, we're down. Okay, RCS and SAS off. Damn. That is a slope right there, man. Especially for this rocket. Fuck. Okay. Well, let's deploy some panels. Deploy some drills. That's a cool animation. Uh, Enable generator. Whoa, that's kind of cool. Check that shit out. Some green mist shit going on. I think we can go ahead and deploy the other drill. Wow. Okay, that's pretty damn cool. I like it. I like it. Okay, well, we'll tank this guy up and get the fuel replenished off camera. Maybe find a flatter spot to land to sit on. Although I guess there's nothing wrong with sitting here as long as I'm stable. And then we will move on to the next item on our agenda. So I have some extra struts here. It's not going anywhere. Oh well. It's Kerbal engineering.